Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen to a... I'm not sure I can really call it a Let's Play, considering the game's not entirely out yet, but a tentative first look at Rogue Legacy. Rogue Legacy is... well, a bit of... You know the game Rogue from back in the day, how there's an entire genre that refers to itself as roguelikes now? Rogue Legacy sort of takes from that, in that it has the permanent death aspect, and it has the character improvement aspect that roguelikes have, but it's a bit different in that it actually involves multiple generations of characters and different characteristics, which is fairly interesting. What you're seeing right now is just the basic control tutorial. I actually have technically beaten the demo once before, so it's not going to be entirely a surprise to me what happens here. I do know most of what's going on, but the actual game itself is still difficult enough even when you know what you're doing. So, as you can see, we have the ability to jump, we have the ability to attack, we have the ability to attack downwards in the air, which I don't take advantage of probably as much as I should, but then we also have these small platforms which activate when you down jump on them. And of course there are going to be enemies, there are going to be spells, it's all going to be a good lot of fun. But Sir Johannes here, I believe he's called, is he's a bit odd. I actually have no idea what's going on here. It appears there's a king and a statue of two people that has some energy in between it. Anyway, if we attack the king, it ends the... well, the beginning. So, yeah. Rogue Legacy by Celador's Game. Let's go ahead and start our... what is essentially our first character here. Let's get some information about him, shall we? Oh, it's still Sir Johannes. The Knight. Knights have 100% just flat out your base stats. We have 100 health, 100 mana, 25 strength, 25 intelligence, and no chance to crit, but if we did, we'd do a bit more damage with it. And again, that's not really saying much. Anyway, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and enter this castle here. That little building logo is important since this castle is randomly generated every single time you come in. Now, occasionally throughout the castle you'll find things called the Unknown Soldier's Journal. The Unknown Soldier's Journal entries just give a little bit of backstory to the castle itself and the fact that it changes every single time. There are planned to be more areas in this, as you can sort of see by that little map to the left of where I am. There's going to be a tower, a forest, and a dungeon eventually, but we can't access any of those since this is still in beta. Anyway, journal entry number 1, something about an assassin going to a castle. If you want to read it, just go ahead and pause the video. I'm not going to read all of the text to you. But the general gist is that he has come to this castle to avenge his father, who was murdered by an assassin who may or may not have been us in that prologue. Anyway, you can see your basic enemies here, and there are a couple of basic room setups that you'll see on a regular basis. Like this one, which is going to be interesting. The first time I was able to actually take this room successfully, I had double jump. So... it looks like I've gotten a little bit better at it since then, though. I have no idea how I'm going to get through here without being hurt, though. Oh, apparently I can jump higher than I thought I could. Anyway, you will always find a couple of things just around the castle. More strange things and notable things will be marked by a question mark. Like if I press up here, I can pray for assistance, which gets me Calypso's compass, which is apparently not working. So that shrine just gave me a useless item. I'm very grateful on the one hand, but on the other hand, I'm really not. Oh, I'm hurting. Okay, I now have no health left. Now, don't worry if you die, because it's not the end of the world. But, when you do die, your previous character is just locked up in the family tree, and you get to pick from one of 3 people that succeed them. Each one will have a little bit of odd characteristics and might have a different class, so you can just kind of look at what you like. Barbarians, like Lady Shanoa here, have higher health but lower damage and magic. She also has the ectomorph trait, which makes her very light. Hypergonadism, so we knock people away, so this is really just going to be a battle of knockbacks if we choose Lady Shanoa. And she has one of the better spells in the game, which encases fire around us. Anyway, we have Lady Winry, who I don't know what the Alzheimer's trait does, but she's a knave, which is probably my least favorite class. It has a little bit of extra crit chance, but much lower health to compensate for this. And also she has an axe. And then we have Sir Grey, the knight, who is so heavy we can't be knocked backwards, which is both a blessing and a curse. Knocking backwards can get you out of trouble, but it can also knock you over a cliff or something like that. So I generally like it, but it's not without its downsides. And he has this Scythe spell, which isn't terrible, but it isn't absolutely amazing. Anyway, first things first, we're going to unlock the smithy, which will start our castle growing. He can build us some basic equipment. We need to find him the blueprints for it within the mansion, though, so we can't just build anything right off the bat. And then we can either unlock our health up or our mana up, and I like to go for health, since mana usually isn't a very big concern for me. So if we talk to the blacksmith here, he tells me that we can bring back some blueprints and he'll be able to build new stuff. Like this sword, as you can see, this would give us 7 extra damage, but would take a little bit of weight. Weight is just a bit of a balancing factor. Make sure that you can't equip all the best gear right off the bat or altogether. Now, here's the sort of progression thing within the castle. Whatever gold you get, you can spend, but you don't get to keep gold between lifetimes, because Charon here... normally the screen's not supposed to go white, but I managed to talk to him at the exact moment lightning struck, which is pretty cool. You have to give him all your money to be able to go back in, which, naturally, you just have to take your chances with the new character. And then a new castle will build. So, and just as a quick note, it looks like from right here, there are going to be 4 bosses, an eye, a skull, a flame, and a blob. And then, of course, the final boss of the game, which is something with ram's horns. Now, I've gotten through this, and our goal is to kill the eyeball in the demo. That is pretty much the end boss right now, which will actually turn that icon green, which leads me to believe that there will be, over the course of... Really? Right off the bat? I'm terrible with those platforms. The downward attack hit detection seems a little bit lower than the rest of the items, but I suppose making it too wide would make things seem a bit too easy, or might lead you to attack things you didn't want to, so again, balancing factors. But the door with the 4 icons leads me to believe that there will be 4 bosses that we have to kill to face the final boss. And as I've discovered through playing through here, once you die after defeating the boss doesn't come back. So your legacy throughout this game is just going to be trying to kill all 4 bosses over time. Now, just for some basic enemies, you can see we have the Grey Knights, who are just pretty standard foes. They stand there, they have a lot of health, well, more health than other items anyway. We also have the Shawrites, which just float through things and will attack us. We have skeletons, pretty much your standard adventuring fare, if you know what I mean. But, oh, here we go, this is a good room. For us, actually an extremely good room, because there are chests in here. Chests are scattered around the castle and are generally what you want to try to access over the course of a run, since chests will hold either lots of gold or upgrade items in the best case scenario. Things like runes or blacksmith, what am I trying to say? Blacksmith recipes? Blueprints, that's what I'm trying to say. Wow, that would not reveal itself to me. Anyway. There are also spike floors in this game. Spike floors trigger when you get too close to them, so you have to move quickly or risk being impaled on them. The exception to this is the dwarfism trait, which makes you really tiny, which has a lot of disadvantages, like decreasing your attack range and decreasing your attack damage. I just found a gold sack there, which is pretty unlikely just for a random item, so that's pretty helpful. Out of chest, gold sacks, at least 1 are usually pretty... likely. And as you can see here, dwarfism is not without its other benefits. If you notice, about a square above my sword right now is a slightly darker wall. That darker wall is about the size of a character with dwarfism, so if you have a character with that trait, you're able to take shortcuts that other members of your team, or other members of your legacy, I suppose, are not. And this is actually going fairly poorly because of all these enemies here. Yeah, I kinda saw that coming. Jumped straight into him. The Maya is always at the top of the castle. No idea what that is. Presumably one of the later bosses. There's always a parting word of some sort that your character will leave you with. Usually just advice about the game. Anyway, what do we have here? We have Blair with nearsighted, and that's entirely true. The edges of the screen will be completely blurred. Well, not completely. You'll still be able to see what happens, but if you're actually nearsighted, it's It's pretty near to the truth. But she's a knave, so I don't want to choose her, and so is Lady Faye, which means that leaves me with Lady Lisa, who is bald, has Tourette's, and is a knight with the dagger spell. I actually like the dagger spell, so that's not too bad for us. I'm wondering if I should just upgrade to Paladin. I'm thinking not. You can always come back here to upgrade after you've bought your gear, so I think I'm going to do that. Buying equipment, as the game will tell you at some point, is one of the best ways to upgrade your stats early. So, just getting as many upgrades to your gear early as you can get generally helps you out fairly well. Anyway, what do we have? 70 gold for this and 110 for that, so there we go. Now, all my knights are paladins. Paladins can block attacks with the Y button if you're using an Xbox 360 controller, which I think I am. I don't know, I'm playing it on the PC, but I'm just using an Xbox controller. Anyway, then we have a couple of other upgrades. Now you can see you can upgrade your equipment weight up to 10 times, which will help you if you want to equip better gear, but for now we don't need to worry about that in the slightest. But this is just the Paladin defensive ability. You press Y, you put up your shield. That's pretty much it. It costs a little bit of mana whenever you block attacks, but it isn't every single time you block an attack, if that makes sense. For example, if you're in a room with a lot of enemies firing at you at once, if you block an attack, it'll actually block a number of attacks in quick succession, rather than just blocking the one. Which can benefit you, because it means you don't spend mana for literally every single hit. But, oh, and that's the Tourette's there, kicking in. Whenever our character gets hit, they will just have a little speech bubble of sorts above their head, with what is presumably a graphical representation of a terrible expletive. Now, walls are actually fairly helpful against these little flame guys, since it does block their attacks. They were fairly weak, which is good for us, considering I'm not able to take them too well at this point. But yes, our end goal is to find the boss's door, which will be randomly generated somewhere in the castle, and then to naturally kill the boss. As we start to get more upgrades though, we will start to get more characters outside the castle that can help us out, up to and including the Mystic, or whatever she's called, who has the ability to equip our gear with runes, which can give us various benefits from recovering... Oh dear. Okay, fairy chests. Good as time to explain them as any. God almighty. Fairy chests are a bit of an interesting mechanic in which you satisfy a requirement determined whenever you enter the room, and usually predetermined for the type of room. And if you complete that requirement... thank goodness for invincibility frames. If you complete that requirement, you can open up the chest. But you do have to kill all enemies or not take damage, so it's usually not without its challenge. But if you do complete it, you'll usually get a rune for it, and this is our very first rune for our sword, Siphon. Siphon recovers mana when you kill an enemy, so since we're going to be playing mostly knights and... Wow, really? Can I not? Okay, there we go. Oh, come on. Okay, I think I might die in this room, unless I can find some health here in the near future. 15 health is naturally not an excellent situation to find yourself in. But just finding the bosses... Oh, goodness. Okay, that's a mini-boss. And he's a toughie. I'm not a big fan of him at low levels. Once you start to get at least a double jump, he's more manageable to take. But before you manage to get your double jump, he can be an absolute pain in the ass. He has a triple dashing... Oh, blueprint for a knight helm. Alright, so knight gear is the second tier... Oh dear, I am not a clever man. Anyway, where was I at? That mini-boss has several attacks, such as dashing at you and firing off shockwaves. We have 2 ectomorphs thus far. 3 ectomorphs, okay. Everybody's thin in this generation. So we have the gay trait, which I have no idea what it does. We have he's a barbarian. So we all have ectomorph barbarians. Literally everyone. But what are the other things? Stereoblind, hypergonadism, or gay. I'm gonna choose the guy with flame barrier. He is stereoblind though, so that's going to be a bit interesting for us. Here, I'll kind of show you what that does in a second. First things first, we're going to buy that knight helm. Gives us a little bit more health, a little bit more mana, at the expense of being a little bit heavier. And then we're going to go back and see if we can't buy a new upgrade of some sort. I'm thinking HP. And then I'll also upgrade our equipment rate. There we go. Once we've upgraded our equipment rate, we have access to the other 2 builders, the Architect and the Enchantress. The table used to be a lot bigger for all these upgrades, but it has fallen somewhat in recent times, and stereo blind just means that it looks like you're Paper Mario if you turn around, you and any enemy for that matter. So everybody is paper thin. Stereo blindness literally reduces everything to paper thin rates in the character's eyes. Or rates? Paper thin appearances. Anyway, so our barbarian here, you'll notice he's doing about 24 damage compared to the paladin's normal 35. So a little bit less, but I also have 233 HP on this guy, which is quite the benefit. Just flat HP is very good at the beginning of the game when you're not able to recover it as easily from, say, vampirism runes or whatever they're called. But since my guy is an ectomorph, anytime he takes damage he is going to fly like no tomorrow, which is going to make vertical chambers, like say this one, a bit more difficult. Oh, careful there. So our goal, hopefully, in this video is to manage to just speedrun this game and kill the boss, kind of demonstrate what's going on. And then, of course, later, if you want to complete the game more than one time, the game has a built-in delete save option, which, for some reason, I'm not able to find on some games nowadays, so definitely appreciated. Like, what was it? Mark of the Ninja. I'm planning to do an LP of that eventually, but I had to actively delete my save from the game files within my computer if I wanted to start without any of the upgrades. And then I had to disable Steam Cloud communication until I had completed it. Was a whole deal, so definitely appreciated, devs. Thank you for that. And on the note of the devs, special thanks to them. Normally, I'm pretty sure you have to pay for beta access, but they were kind enough to give a couple of Let's Players a free copy of the game. Or a free copy of the beta, rather, which is pretty goddamn impressive. I mean, it's not the most astounding thing to ever happen in the history of the world, but it's not something you see very often, and it is appreciated. And there's Bodus again, for his name is Bodus. And once I get double jump, I'll try to kill Bodus, but I have yet to find a single double jump rune, which is a bit of a pain. And if you'll notice, I'm not going to buy the Siphon rune as soon as we can. Oh, this is a completely obvious, Doomvus, Canvas of Doom, I suppose. Doomvus are a bit bugged at the moment. They can spawn, at least I assume they're bugged, they can spawn on top of other objects, which rather gives them away. And, oh, here, we found another piece of the puzzle. Or another piece of the background. Entry number 2. Eldest child, if he finds the cure for his father's illness. Throne on passing, treated as royalty. Conquer the castle, find the cure. Okay, so, who knows, maybe the guy that left that is none other than our own ancestor. But I have no idea for certain. And, like this room with the fairy chest, there's no condition shown for being able to reach it, but it is locked, and I'm completely unable to reach it without my double jump, so I need to be a bit more careful. I need to be a bit more careful overall. Goodness. A little bit of HP left, though. So that's fairly nice of the game. Oh, this room is taller than I thought it was. Anyway, we're going to just try to trigger one Doomvis at a time, because triggering both of them would be fairly dangerous for me. But we're already up to 680 gold, which is a pretty sizable chunk for the beginning of the game here. Oh, here we go. This is going to be interesting. So as you can see, we have a bunch of enemies in this room. A bunch of frost throwers, especially. What are their exact names? Frosting. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. So I'm actually going to trigger my flame shield here. Drop down. There we go. Flame shield should be able to kill the 2 knights, leaving me with just this last enemy. I just want to get to the bottom to be able to get that chest there, since chests at the bottom of rooms like this almost always contain something worthwhile. And it is unlocked, so we don't have to worry about any sort of key, which is one thing. There's a Let's Player known as Northern Lion, got quite a few subscribers on him. He did a Let's Look At for this game, and for some reason he seemed to think that he needed a key for most of these chests, and maybe that was true in an earlier build, but at this point, all chests seem to be unlocked without any sort of key that you need to access them, which is fairly nice. Means that you can get access to the equipment or the... Oh, really? Ah, barbarians. Not enough attack damage to really back things up, which is a pity. Anyway, let's go ahead and select another heir here, shall we? Keep it going. We have a paladin, so an upgraded knight with the conflux spell, which is definitely interesting. I don't see conflux very often, so it's a fairly rare spell to see, but my other two choices are a mage or a knave. Mages are pretty good if you choose to go the magic route, since every kill you get gives you 10 mana. He also has dyslexia, so any text we encounter within the game is going to be mixed up. But I think I'm going to stick with the paladin, since physical attacking is awesome, and paladins are nothing if not very good at physical attacks. I'm going to go ahead and unlock the enchantress here, as well as... Yep, thank you. As well as the architect. And then, with the architect is a bit interesting. He doesn't charge cash up front to lock down the design of the castle you were just in, but rather he takes half of the gold you get over the course of that run. So I'm going to upgrade my attack here a couple of times, since I don't really have much else to do right now. I only have the one rune. I don't want to lock down the design of the castle. Just about the only thing I have left to do is enter. And we're actually doing pretty well here, considering it's only been, what is it, about 20 minutes since I started this file? Don't get me wrong, Rogue Legacy is a game with a ton of replayability, even in its beta, just because no run is going to be completely different. You're always going to have some different things going on, you're always going to have that different room layout. Eventually, you'll sort of get the hang of just how to get around the castle, because you'll start to recognize the room types. So, and I mean, that's to be expected. You play any game for long enough, you're going to recognize what's going on. Like in The Binding of Isaac, or other games with rogue elements, I suppose. You're going to recognize room layouts if they're not completely randomly generated. Which, complete random generation leaves the game open to a lot of problems. Like, rooms that are inaccessible. So, to this game's credit, it does things fairly well. It always makes sure that it attaches a room where it will fit properly, and where it has connection to another room. Now, I've already taken quite a bit of damage here, so maybe I should pay a bit more attention to what I'm doing. But who needs to do that? Oh my god, there are a lot of spiked balls in here. Is there another exit to this room? I'm gonna pull up the map real quick. Nope, just this chest. Alright, so let's get that and get the hell out of here. Fairly dangerous, we don't want to stay there any longer than we have to. Now, enemies also stay dead, so that is to your benefit in Rogue Legacy. It means that if you clear out a room earlier, those enemies are not going to be coming back to trouble you in the future. But on that same note, you also can't just farm easy enemies for lots of gold. So, every Rogue Legacy playthrough would definitely have a sort of end game where you're not able to do anything more with it. Now, this is a fairly easy chest to get to, just a matter of timing, and it has a blueprint in it for Night Bracers. Bracers are generally alright. I'm pretty sure they just increase your magic power, your intelligence stat. And since I don't use magic probably as much as I should, that's not as important to me. Another room that we can only get through dwarfism. Just past there. Here we go. We have a Doomscape, an upgraded Doomvus. They're actually fairly dangerous since they... As I was saying... they're fairly dangerous since they will actually fire orbs at you and spin around you both. I discovered one at one point that would actually miss me with every attack and I could just attack it on every way through, but not the case here. So we have a barbarian, a mage, and a mage. I guess I'll choose the barbarian. Tourette's, hypergonadism, and the dagger spell. Can't upgrade my attack anymore, so perhaps my HP. There we go. And if you ever want to practice your spells or anything, this training dummy lets you know just about how much damage you're going to be doing. Seems I'm doing 42 damage per dagger and 27 damage per auto attack. Now, only 70 gold, so not much else to do but re-enter the castle. Oh. I'm wondering if food stays if I leave the room. That'll be interesting to find out, because that means that if I... No, it does disappear after you do it. Okay, so I was thinking maybe if I found food and I didn't need it, I could leave it behind for in the future when I was lower on health. But it seems that is not the case, and I've discovered a couple rooms like this, which I recognized a tower defense game from one of them, and this appears to be a block pushing game with some sort of strange bears. I'm assuming these are other games from Cellar Doors Inc., but I can neither confirm nor deny that statement. That's just my assumption, because, you know, devs kinda pimping their own games within the context of their game. Not really too bad. Oh, fairy chest for take no damage. This one, for some reason, it's very simple, but I managed to screw up the jump timing quite a bit, so that fairy chest is now permanently locked. We're not going to be able to get it on this playthrough. That's it. You get one shot, and if you fail it, it's just too bad. Which is why I like defeat all enemies fairy chests a bit more. There's no actual failure condition other than not killing everything. Oh no, I've never been able to successfully complete this fairy chest. But hey, let's give it a shot. Who knows? Yeah, there we go. The very last one. Stop pressing right, or stop pressing left a little bit too early and it ruined me. So as you can see, Hypergonadism is in full effect, which means that I'm actually going to have to chase my enemies down a little bit if I want to kill them, because with lower damage and higher knockback, enemies are going to be... Oh, are you kidding me? There's some MLG shit right there from that enemy. Fired in midair to catch my midair dodge. Situations like that are ones where you'll have to use the downward slash. Forgetting about it. I mean, it is an integral part of your abilities, so forgetting about a mechanic really just would leave a lot of things inescapable. But even with that said, I still don't use the downward slash very much, and even when I do, it seems more like an afterthought than anything else. Or a forced mechanic, like those rooms with the downward slash. Wow, 48 health, that's pretty nice. Like those rooms with the downward slash platforms and just a bunch of flying spike balls. Anyway, we already have 350 gold, so not a bad start. I really want to, oh, speak of the devil. I was about to say, I really want to find the boss room here so I can kind of show you guys what's going on. We also just got an upgraded chest plate, which is good for us. So this is the boss door, and I'm thinking I'm going to just go ahead and fight the boss. The boss of the demo is a giant eyeball known as Khidr? Khidr? Or something like that. Anyway, he has a couple of different attacks. First and foremost of which is spawning a bunch of bloody tears. I suppose they're tears? Anyway, Khidr is level 27, so he is a fairly difficult opponent, and I'm pretty sure that that stays constant throughout your playthroughs, because I have always encountered Khidr at a fairly high level. Oh no, oh, okay. If I get hit with another one of those, that is curtains for my character here, so I gotta try to dodge. Oh, damn. Okay, so got to about half on the Khidr boss, which is not too bad. I kind of want to find someone with dwarfism, though, because I haven't been able to show that off here yet. Anyway, we have a mage, knave, paladin. So, paladin with stereo blind, so that's something. Anyway, we do have a lot of gold, though, since we did just reach the boss's room, which always has 2 treasure chests in it, regardless of circumstance. It also gave us the knight chest plate, which is just too expensive for us. Damn it. That is unfortunate. Oh well, I guess I will use this time to just upgrade my attack then, since there's not much else I can do with this run. Let's see how much damage we're doing now. 38 damage per auto attack, not bad at all. Back through Charon's Gate. I'm telling you, I'm gonna defeat that boss sooner or later. If I can just buy that chest plate, that's a lot of extra defense for me and a lot of extra HP, which will help considerably. It's just a matter of getting up the gold for it. So my goal this run is to get 525 gold. And we're already off to a fair start, but I mean, collecting the average 10 gold piece is never a bad thing. Also, there are tons of little pieces around this area. I'm just gonna use my Mercy Invincibility to get through there. There are tons of little... Oh, are you kidding me? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I didn't realize it was a fairy chest. I know the layout of that room too, so that's really embarrassing. There are lots of little pieces like chairs and candelabras and things like that just scandaled throughout the mansion. These can... What the fuck am I looking at? I have never encountered this before. Chance to win 2 prizes. You are the 99,999th. Hit the targets. Chance to win prizes. Oh, there we go. I can talk to him from right here. Care texture or dexterity. You'll get 1 shot, but it's free charge. If you succeed, I'll give you a nice reward. 10 daggers to destroy 8 targets. Care to give it a try? Sure. Oh my god. Is this timed? It doesn't appear to be timed. Oh, I missed. Oh, okay, so I missed 2. There we go. Gotcha. Missed. Damn, I cannot hit all of them. Oh, wow. Okay, so dagger tossing, a bit more difficult than it appears, I assure you. Oh, no more daggers. Sorry guy, I failed. You had your fun, beat it. Alright, that still got me a couple of extra gold, so that's fairly cool. I've never encountered that room before. As I said, you think that you might have seen everything, but this game might... there's always something new to discover. Even if you think you've seen everything, there might just be one room that's never shown up for you. Wait, did I say that before? I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway. So, Carnival. Okay, by the way, I have no idea what the purpose of this room is. I've seen it a couple of times, but it appears to be completely pointless 9 times out of 10. Maybe it's supposed to occasionally have... Oh, here we go. So, room with lots of spike traps and a chest, so just gonna run real quick across those. Just get out of there, there we go. 560 gold, so we've already reached our goal, and we have yet to even find the boss room or the mini-boss or anything of that sort. Kinda wish I would have gotten that fairy chest though, since fairy chests will often contain runes, and I'm still hoping to find that double jump rune somewhere. Oh my god. Okay, I'm getting out of here. There was a treasure chest in that room, but that room layout always has the treasure chest on... Oh god, a couple of Doomvuses. Just sitting around. There we go, got him. Oh, and then a... Oh, thank goodness. Okay, this is actually a fairly rare room from what I've seen. It recovers a bit of HP and MP, but only has 1 use. So, use it when you're in dire need. Or just to recharge yourself occasionally. Presumably there will be more than 1 if you're going through a regular playthrough, but I've only seen them 3 or 4 times in all of my playthroughs, so maybe they're not quite as common as I thought. Anyway, we've pretty much looted everything that the side of the castle has, yeah. So, let's head through here, being very careful with all these enemies. I'm not grabbing that treasure chest because of all the spiked floors. Spiked floors can be bested by... Wow, the weaker chest plate. I feel so lucky to have found that now that I have the upgraded one. Okay, plus the down attack just feels really... I don't know. I would like it if the down attack would stick around until you hit the ground or until you actively cancelled it by pressing up or something like that. Because at the moment, occasionally it just doesn't trigger, or you have to do it at the very last second, so it's like a swing rather than an active attack. But anyway, so we have Sir Dude, Sir Judson, and Lady Shanoa. They both have Blade Wall, but she's colorblind and he has irritable bowel syndrome. I think I'm going to pick the colorblind one. Now, let's go get that new shield, and as you can see, colorblind is taken very literally. Do not adjust your set, this is on our end. Plus 5 weight for plus 8 magic, and I have 300 cash to unlock it. Sure, upgrading my equipment is never a completely bad thing. So I still have yet to find someone with dwarfism on this run though, which is really unfortunate because I was hoping to show off most of the traits on this playthrough. And, I don't know, I think, okay, we're either going to drag this out for 1 hour or until we reach the boss, whichever comes first. Or until we defeat the boss, that is. A couple of knights up there, so that's not too good for us. Now, colorblind is mostly a pretty harmless trait, but there is one thing that it can kind of hurt with, which is The enemies that spew fire and ice, as you may have noticed, are pretty much palette swaps of one another. They're just color changes, which means if for some reason you're, say, colorblind, you cannot tell whether it's a fire or an ice enemy before they actually use their attack on you. Not very bad, but in emergency situations it can be a little bit unfortunate, especially if you find their upgraded versions. That's just a nightmare. Now, what's in here? Oh, a hidden chest. Okay. So as you can see on the map, there's just a little bit... I don't know if that's actually visible if you're not colorblind, truth be told, but you can see a little bit of a sparkle, and you can see this darkened floor here. So just jump up here, and Vampire Rune. It's not terrible. Vampire Rune's actually one of my favorites, but I'm still hoping for that double jump. Someday I will find my double jump, and it will carry me through the rest of the game. Oh, speaking of the rest of the game, the boss's door. And a sage sword. Now, the sage items, I've never really... Wow, 2 items at once. That's pretty good. And a journal entry. So, Sharon taking Aldio's payment. It says it's price for any who enter the castle. None have returned. He will change that. I don't think he's going to have changed that, judging by the fact that we are still here, unless that unknown person is in fact the final boss of the game, which would be... I don't know. I kind of expect that. Either he's our ancestor or he's the final boss. And a knight sword. Oh, I want that. So we want to get gold on this playthrough. But I'm only at 38 health. Another disadvantage to being colorblind, it's a little bit harder to see your health bar. My apologies to the actually colorblind in the audience, as you probably already know everything I'm talking about. Or maybe it's not actually fitting in with colorblindness, because nothing's really red. Oh! Between 5, 4, 3, 1. I got it! Okay, and my reward is the sprint rune. Damn it. I was really hoping for double jump there, but you can't always get what you want. Still no dwarfism. Anyway, we've got a new spell up top, Chakram. Throws out a Chakram, which is a little bit like a boomerang, flies out, returns to you. If you jump over it, it flies an indeterminate amount of distance into the other direction. I'm pretty sure it just goes forever. Anyway, we've got a mage, barbarian. You know what, let's show off a mage this time. Sides or flame bearers? I'm thinking flame bearers, because that's a very powerful ability. And why not? Let's upgrade our magic damage once, since we're about to play through. And now our goal this time is to get enough cash for the knight sword. So how much is that? As you can see on the sage sword, though, it heavily reduces your damage in exchange and gives a lot of extra weight in exchange for giving a lot of extra gold. Pretty much all of the sage items are like this, though I don't think I have any of the other ones right now. Also 300 for a cape for 5% critical chance. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Oh, I didn't even check how much it is. This 375. The sage sword and the sage items cost a lot to unlock, but they give you bonus gold pretty much permanently through your run, so long as you have them equipped, in exchange for vastly lower stats. So it's a bit of a trade-off. If you think you can basically complete the game on hard mode, start equipping sage items and you'll find a little bit of a challenge run. But let's see here. As you can see, I get 10 MP whenever I kill an enemy, but I only have 83 health. One of the reasons I'm not too fond of the Sage class. Anyway, let's see what the exact thing. No, low strength and HP, high int and MP. So we have 83 health and only 19 strength, but 56 intelligence. So that's not too bad. It means that our spells are going to deal a lot of damage, but environmental traps are going to be the bane of our existence. So I'm going to go ahead and cast my flame spell here, since that will give me mana back for every enemy I kill, and with 5 balls of flame, it should more than make up the 20 MP it costs to cast, even if I don't encounter that many enemies. Also, the flame spell will break things in the environment, so that's not too bad either. It helps you out a little bit in that regard. But I need to rely a lot less on my auto attacks. Oh, and it actually killed a Doom boss that I didn't see there for me, so... And you might be thinking, well, if you have lower HP, then food will do better for you. That would be true if it weren't for the fact that food restores HP based on your max HP and not just a flat amount. That, I don't know. I think that might be just a balancing factor again for the fact that mages could be incredibly OP if they just got a steady supply of food, and I'm dead already because I'm very bad at dodging damage. But I don't know, I think it's just, it seems like just HP recovery is not an option on mages. Maybe if you add a couple of vampirism runes, you restored a set amount of health with every kill, that might actually go pretty well, but let's just go back to, do we have any new traits here? No, let's take a guy with the axe spell then, so we can just kind of demonstrate that. Sir Eric, the paladin. And how much cash do I have? 310, so not enough. So yeah, that's the axe spell. Functions pretty much exactly the same as the axe from Castlevania. Let's go ahead and equip the cape. We are exactly at our weight capacity now, but now we have a bitchin' cape to go with, so gotta pay Charon all of 10 gold. He is not getting particularly rich off of our characters recently. And we're going to try to, you know what, I think that with a paladin this time, I'm going to try to find the boss again. The paladin's damage block ability makes it a little bit easier to get through Khidr, however you pronounce his name, since his damage is, or the main source of damage when I get hit by him, is, oh, what is this? Hermes Boots. Okay, occasionally you find an item, I have no idea whatsoever what this item does. I'm mashing every... What the hell just happened? Okay, so pressing down and the button turns me into a Tanuki statue? I'm very confused. Anyway, through 2 difficult rooms we will find a treasure chest. Hopefully it'll have something good for us. I don't know if that's an effect of Hermes Boots or just a natural ability of the Paladin now that I think about it. I never really used the Paladin's damage boost ability enough to fully take advantage of it. Anyway, so praying to a statue will get you a random item. The item's effects are not detailed in the slightest. You have to kind of figure them out yourself. So if I ever get Hermes Boots, or if I ever get another Paladin, which seems likely, I'll just see if that works out as well. And if I ever get Hermes Boots with a different character who is not a Paladin, I'll see if it upgrades their natural abilities too. Oh, want to kill this enemy before he gets to slash off on me. Good, excellent. Okay, this is actually going alright despite the sheer number of enemies I've been encountering thus far. Perhaps I will even make it to the boss and defeat them on this playthrough. And at 43 minutes, well, I'll certainly find another journal entry. There are currently only 5 entries in the game, so we've seen most of them by this point. Can't seem to get track of my headings, backtracking. Maps are breathtakingly inaccurate, describing a different castle. The castle does bring something to mind, or are the stones shifting, so maybe there's something deeper to the castle, and that was really lucky to find a bag of gold in that chandelier there. Anyway, 38 damage on our auto attack should be enough to give us a decent amount of DPS versus Khidr, which means that we might actually be able to take him. We're probably not going to be able to take the mini-boss under any circumstance though, since I have not figured out how to dodge his attacks without... Oh, I just cast my axe instead of defending. That was clever of me. There we go. Defend again. I'm out. Alright. So now I'm at nearly no gold. My character just spazzed the fuck out there. That's okay though. And... come on, it's gotta be this way. I've explored every other way, haven't I? Oh, wow. Oh, it's so close to getting by without being hit. But we got plenty of gold, so it was sort of worth it. 750, so we've already got the Knight Sword. And if we get another 25 gold and find the double jump rune, our first rune will always cost us 200 gold. So, I will be able to equip it if I find it, if I get even a tiny amount more gold. Like, haven't I already? No. Oh, there it is, though. Oh, and an extra 100 off that zombie. That zombie was rich as hell. Bourgeoisie zombies all over the castle. Alright. It's just a wonderful word, isn't it? Bourgeoisie. It doesn't look anything like the word. The word doesn't look anything like the way it's spelled, and yet just has a certain ring to it. Anyway, back to the actual game, because you're all not interested in my linguistic choices. Can't imagine who would be, for that matter. Anyway, hopefully this room doesn't have anything at the other end, nor does it even have a treasure chest, so the damage I took in here was completely pointless. 12 health. Our knight ain't doing so hot. I might equip that vampirism rune here in the near future. In fact, I think I'm going to have to, just to get myself even a small amount of HP regen. Nothing? Where haven't I not visited yet? Oh, downwards, alright. The map feature, again, very useful. Maybe Alzheimer's messes with your map a bit. I still don't know what exactly it does, but... Oh, and here's the tower defense game I was mentioning. Like, this looks familiar to me, but I cannot place where it is. But I assume it's another game from Celador Entertainment, the cool people who provide me with a key. Thank you again, Celador Entertainment. I don't actually know if they want to pimp their name on here, but hey, why not? So, our guy, our paladin dies and still no dwarfism. Damn it. Alright, so mage, knave, or barbarian? Considering the mage has a blade wall, that would not be great, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the mage and then I'm going to upgrade to archmage, which allows us to switch our spells on the fly. Can cast lots of different spells, and then I'm going to go ahead and buy... I think I'm just going to buy the knight sword on this run. Can I not equip it? Oh, I don't have enough weight capacity. Can I upgrade that? No, I would have to de-equip something to be able to upgrade, or to be able to equip the knight sword as well. I think I'm just going to equip the squire limbs. Is that enough? Yeah, there we go. Damage up to 21. We are swinging for the fences now, I tell you that. Oh, and I have enough to equip a final rune. Might as well, for lack of a better option. Yes, find my runes, bring them back. We have a lot of sword enchantment runes, and I mean a lot. Oh, and I've got a vault room on my helmet. When the hell did I... Is that unlocked by default? Have I had that literally this entire time and didn't realize? Oh well, whatever. Now we have the ability to double jump, and with it, I think we are going to be in business here. Double jump makes this game loads easier. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Double jump is pretty much the saving grace in many different scenarios. So having it, we will almost definitely be able to defeat the boss within the next 10 minutes or so. Hopefully, assuming I don't get some really, really bad draws. Anyway, as you can see in the top right, I'm switching spells. Once I switch away from the very first Blade Wall spell, I will never get it back. But I will have Chakram, Axe, and Dagger at my convenience. So if I see any enemies below me, like say an inconvenient bunch of skeletons, or if I see a couple of enemies... Oh, ow. A couple of enemies hanging out down the way, I should be able to take them out fairly easily using my unique spells. There we go, so 10 MP every time I defeat an enemy. Means that I should stay fully stocked throughout the entirety of this small area. And even a double kill there to help me refresh my mana a little bit more. So mage maybe not as worthless as I had originally thought, and it gets me to a room with a chest in it containing gold. Oh well, it's something. But if you are a dwarf, again, you can just sneak through the top. Don't have to deal with the skeletons because they can't toss that high. Don't have to deal with the other enemies because they can't fire upwards. You'll just be completely fine. So, let me go ahead and switch to Dagger here. It looks like Dagger is perfectly capable of taking out these enemies in one shot, which means they will make up for themselves in mana pretty much instantly. Not pretty much instantly, literally instantly. There is no delay apart from the hit time between my casting of these spells and getting the mana back for them. Axe range is always a bit funny. I think I've got it down though. Oh damn it, I just casted Chakram instead of Dagger. Oh! And jumped straight into a shockwave. So yeah, mages, squishy as fuck. That's alright though. Because, oh, finally, a dwarf. Alright, let's pick a dwarf just to show it. I don't even care that it's an archmage. That's perfectly fine. I can deal with an archmage. thinking I might upgrade intelligence though. No, I'm not. I'm going to go over here. So as you can see, dwarves, much smaller sword, but if you're an archmage, that really doesn't matter as much. And we're going to get a vampire rune for 400, which will give us 2 health back every time we kill an enemy. And now we can start to show off all the cool shortcuts within the castle if we encounter any. And I'm hoping we'll encounter at least 1 or 2, so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about here. Now, one of the problems with archmages is that while they may find it easier to get through the castle, it's going to be a bit more difficult to actually take on the boss, because you're not going to be able to kill enemies while you're killing the boss, which means whatever mana you have is it. And that's a bit of a problem. But we can just make our way through the castle with daggers pretty much exclusively, because they cost just as much mana as they use to kill something. And with our double jump rune, we should be able to dodge most enemies in here fairly easily. Not to mention that with the addition of our vampirism rune, every time we kill an enemy, we will get 2 health. Which doesn't seem like much, and it really isn't, but it begins to stack up after a while, especially if you're a mage who is naturally squishy. So we're gonna get to the end here and get 120 gold. That's not great, especially considering I took like a third of my health and damage here, but I should be able to recover it back. So here's one of the dwarfism shortcut examples. You can just go ahead and run through the wall right there, and what item are we about to get? Hedgehog's Curse. Okay, so something to do with Sonic, I assume? I mean, does down and Y do anything? Nope. Oh, I have different spells this time. I have daggers, Stop Time, which is a toggle ability that freezes enemies while it's working. And of course I have our old friend the dagger in the shock room. So go ahead and... Oh, that wasn't quite powerful enough to kill it. Oh my god! It seems that I took less damage, but my gold flew everywhere. I don't know if I'm okay with this. That Hedgehog's Curse ability seems a little bit sketchy. Anyway, I've got to kill a couple of enemies without using my spells just to get my mana back here. There we go. Oh, I missed naturally on my very next shot. Wonderful. Oh, there's a shortcut here of some sort. Oh, fair enough. So it's not a great shortcut, but it's there. Didn't even know about that one. And as I said, you'll keep discovering new things as you play more and more through Rogue Legacy. Oh, and there's a chest in here. What am I doing leaving? Well, finding out that the room next to me is worthless for one thing, but you should never leave a chest behind if you can help it. Now, one of the great things about being a dwarf is since the spike traps... Oh. Okay, hold on. It's the archetypal chest game. 4 chests. One contains nothing, one contains a little bit, one contains more than you gave, and one contains a jackpot. Costs half your gold to enter, and I got half the gold I spent. So I came out behind, and I've actually never won the chest game, so I'm starting to think it's rigged. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really bad at guessing chests, but I've always gotten me half of whatever you spent. Upgrade. But I'm thinking that if I'm going to trying to be face the... Wow, where did that sentence go? If I'm going to try to face the boss... By the way, dwarfism exclusive shortcut here. Complete with tiny chests and everything else, and a rune. Siphon rune for chest plate. It's not terrible. Where was I going with this? I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh yes, pressure plates. Since they are, or rather, spike traps. Since they are triggered with pressure plates, according to the game itself, dwarves can walk over spike traps without triggering them at all. I could have just jumped across that with a double jump, but... Alright, now, you'll always want to be a little bit cautious these rooms. Some rooms are just like this, and they're just a bunch of barrels stacked over one another, but others will actually... Oh god, no. All my cash. I'm liking Sonic Hedgehog, the Curse of the Hedgehog, less and less as time goes on. But Mage actually does seem viable. And that 2 health recovery every time I kill an enemy is actually pretty alright. And, Oh, don't think I didn't see you wobbling there. Or you. Alright, so those picture frames actually being a bit tricky. Oh, that dodging skills. Get the hell out. Alright, a little bit of health for me. Good. I was running a bit low on that. Once this enemy comes up, alright, take him out. Now with double jump, I should be able to make it through this area fairly easily. Oh no! All my gold! Come back, gold pieces. I don't know if they disappear after time, but I don't want to find out. Ah, there we go. Looks like I got more gold than I lost in any case, so... Gotta try to destroy these pieces of furniture for more gold and health. Hopefully health, but no such luck. We're still at 44 though, because we just continue healing off of all of the enemies we kill. So again, vampirism runes, very good. Now once you... oh god damn it. Once you piss off one of those little ghost ball enemies, they will actually back up a moment, then charge at you. Oh, shit. I think I just lost gold when I got that last hit too. So that sucks. So who do we have? We have a barbarian dwarf. We have a gay colorblind paladin. And we have a bald stereoblind paladin. With conflux. I think I'm going to take the paladin with conflux simply because that spell has proven itself to be fairly worthwhile in previous playthroughs. What do I want to buy? I'm thinking that and a health upgrade. There we go. Now I should be able to equip my best gear. All of my best gear. Bracers included. Excellent. And I think the only reason I wasn't able to equip everything earlier was because I was a mage, and by virtue of being a mage, had lower health to start with. So we are a double jumping, vampire-like paladin with a bitchin' sword. How much damage do we do? 42 strength, so we do probably 42 damage, I'd say. 15 armor as well, so a fair amount of damage reduction. Whoa, even got a little bit of slowdown there. Not something I usually experience while playing Rogue Legacy, but perhaps recording plus the summer heat taking its toll on my computer might just be slowing down the game to framey levels. But it's all right. It's not great, but it only seems to happen occasionally. So, oh, we have a prayer shrine already. Let's see what item it gives us, shall we? Oh wait, first things first. Down, Y. Okay, so that does happen with the paladin. Makes me completely invulnerable for a while. Hyperion's Ring. No idea what this does. Okay, so my spell seems to do the exact same thing it normally does. Anyway, I'm sure we'll find out at some point what this does, if it does anything. But I've gotten Hyperion's Ring once before, and I couldn't figure out what it did then either, so take that for what it's worth. And again, I'm not exactly the best at figuring things out. I may do a daily puzzle series, but that does not mean that I am boy genius extraordinaire over here. Because, I mean, come on, it's Portal. There we go. So I'm completely able to one-shot Doom Bosses here, unless they're higher level. Which will help me out a bit, means I don't have to mess around with them too much. Plus the HP recovery from both pieces of meat lying around the castle and my own vampirism runes. I'm still at full health. Which, now that I've said that, naturally I'm going to take a couple of hits and lose a bunch of that health that I've spent so long covering. Oh wow, yeah, this does not look like a pleasant room. Oh, nearly got hit by that enemy. Oh, I didn't realize there were things above me too. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, just get the pattern of the room down. Oh my god, this room is terrifying. I can't say that I've ever encountered it before either. Still, at 128 health despite everything, so what I said about runes still paying off still holds true. And if you notice little, I guess dead ends, like the one in that previous room where I climbed those platforms and nothing was there, that is a possible connection point between rooms. What I think this game does to get its randomly generated aspects is it gets a bunch of predetermined rooms, which are, you know, things I've encountered, and then it sticks them together. Oh my god. And I failed the fairy chest objective. Fair enough. I think I'm just gonna get the hell out of here. It takes a bunch of predetermined rooms. Oh, the boss. I think I'm going to face this and... Wow! Okay, so finding stats is not exactly common in chess, but magic damage increased by 2 permanently, so that's pretty nice. Now, this room is completely enclosed, and Khidr, still don't know how to pronounce his name, takes damage whenever my little circles pass through him, but my circles die if they encounter me, so it's in my best interest to make sure that I don't touch my own magic spell. Because it means that it will just continue doing damage to Khidr until my spell dies. Or times that naturally. Now, I want to be careful around him, since he does have that spinny attack that is just the bane of my existence. This one I can handle, but that attack with the spinning blood coming out of his eye, that is a killer, and I think this will be the run, folks. I think this is the victory run, and... success! The boss drops a ton of gold, up to and including a 500 gold diamond. And an extra 200 when he dies, and then drops a big chest for us. When we get the chest, it gives us some health, some weight load, and some MP. I believe they're all 3 randomized stats. Then it returns us to the entrance after giving us this wonderful little image of the protagonist shrugging. So, that is Rogue Legacy in short, and as we can see, we can just look at our current character. See how Lady Faye is currently doing, 46 health, 3 magic. Oh, but she's alive, which is more than her ancestors can say. Now, with all this done, Rogue Legacy, I see this game going places. I think it's going to be really excellent once they start to get the other areas in. And it's really excellent already, don't get me wrong, but I can't wait for more stuff to be added into the game, because that's going to be a lot of fun. So if you like it, just, I'm going to throw up a link to the Kickstarter, no, not Kickstarter page, Steam Greenlight page in the description, and throw up a link to the developers page as well. Go give them a look. Be sure to support the game if you want to see it on Steam. I highly recommend you do so, since it seems like an awesome thing to do. And as always, I will see you guys next time. This has been PA.